Hi guys, and welcome to another Coffee with Chloe video. So this has been a crazy year in America, but there's been a lot of outrage this past week after the murder of Renee Nicole Good, and it feels tone deaf to just post a regular YouTube video. So today we're going to be talking about some of the things going on in America, my stance on them, and how I am trying to do my part. First of all, if you don't follow my TikTok, if you don't follow me on other social media platforms, and it's not obvious where I stand, fuck Donald Trump, fuck ICE, fuck this whole administration, fuck Christy Nome or whatever her name is, and fuck anybody who only just started caring now that a white woman is dead. This has been happening to people of color for centuries. We should have cared before now. I've spent this week on TikTok examining different quotes related. We talked about the 1946 poem, Then They Came. I also talked about the quote, "Hopelessness is a privilege," in regards to how it connects with white fragility and the use of it as a crutch to not do anything and be lazy. I also shared some book recommendations for anybody looking to read about social justice or to just learn more about some of the stuff going on in our world. We have Jesus and John Wayne, which is a book criticizing white evangelicals and examining how they have ripped apart our nation. How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, which deep dives into words, their meaning, the importance of using the right words, and the difference between being not racist and an anti-racist. We also have some memoirs such as There and Boat Baby. One Day, Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This is another really heartbreaking read, but it's very good. Hood Feminism, Men Who Hate Women by Laura Bates. There's so many resources, and it doesn't have to be a book, because I know books can be hard to access. Even with a library card, it can be months on a wait list, etc. Or if you live in a more conservative area, maybe it's not offered. There's so many resources that you can read online that aren't just news articles and books, but creative essays. Substack is a favorite forum of mine. I also listen to a lot of video essays on TikTok and YouTube about privilege and racism, what it means to be racist, our country, white fragility, etc. What I primarily am going to focus on today is the things that I do to kind of regulate my nervous system, keep my head on, and consistently challenge myself to be better and do my part in this fight for social justice in our country. The best thing that I do for myself is reading. Whether it's nonfiction or fiction, nonfiction is great for informing you about things happening in our real world, especially if it's firsthand accounts from people affected by issues. But reading fiction and fantasy is just as good because it bridges that empathy gap and still teaches you about the things happening in our world, whether directly in a realistic fiction book or through analogies in a fantasy or dystopian novel. Another thing that I do is I write. I write all the time. Whether it's good or bad, I write creatively. I'm working on 2 novels right now. I write in a journal daily. I have a media journal. I write on Substack. I write constantly. If I don't have access to one of my journals, I'm writing in my notes app. Whether it's examining quotes, challenging my own thoughts, questions I need to research, I am always writing because writing is a way for me to really examine and work through a thought process or idea so that I can challenge whatever already exists in my brain. I've just recently picked up blackout poetry again, so I'm currently going through The Great Gatsby page by page and doing blackout poems, and some of them are coming out about our current political climate, some of them are just about my identity as a gay woman in America. But I found this to be really stimulating to my creative self and help me think critically about word choice and pattern. Keeps my brain sharp, keeps me engaged. I also do things like Sudoku because, again, it's a puzzle game. It keeps your brain sharp and engaged. That is what we want to do. You cannot become numb to what is happening in our country. You cannot let yourself get to that point. That is a point, and this is a message for white people specifically. I am not going to tell a person of color what you can and cannot do because people of color have been tortured and killed by our government, by people that look like me, for hundreds of years. This is a message for white people. You cannot get stuck in a cycle of hopelessness and numbness. I know it's sad. I know it makes you angry. I know we feel powerless and everything feels impossible right now. But the fact of the matter is, we are not the victims in this situation. We are not the targets, okay? It doesn't matter all your other identities. I'm a gay woman, I'm not a Christian. But in the end, at the end of the day, I am not the one being targeted by this administration. I am not the person that's going to get kidnapped off the street. And I need that to sink in for everybody that looks like me. They want to desensitize us to everything happening in the world so that we will let them continue to walk over us. They want it to be normal for people to die in the streets. They want us to feel like we have no power and for it to feel normalized for protests to not work. They want us to be numb, and they want us to be nihilistic, and they want us to not care anymore. And you cannot do any of that. You have to stay engaged. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to watch those videos, those graphic videos of people dying in the streets. It's hard to know that, to figure out where you stand when you have so much privilege. It's so difficult, but it is the bare fucking minimum that people like us can do. And I am just now finding my political standing again. I have been outspoken about politics since I started to understand what they were at 12 years old. I remember vividly being in sixth grade in 2016 and watching the election unfold and feeling heartbroken while I was in the middle of deep red Florida, because my parents were thankfully very woke and raised us to be kind, empathetic people that share love with everybody around us. And I remember being told that I was sensitive and dramatic and doing too much and extra, and all of that is a lie. All of that is meant to keep people who care quiet, to shut us down and shut us up so that we let the government do whatever the hell they want to do and we don't stop oppression as it is continuing to escalate. You are not too sensitive, you're not dramatic, you're not extra, and even if you are those things, they're not a bad thing to be. It's not bad to care about other human beings. It's not bad to have empathy. It's not bad to want to see change, and it's not bad to feel lost and to make it known and to be angry and loud about it. All of that to say, do not let the news overwhelm you. Do not let it force you into numb ignorance. Keep reading, keep writing, keep drawing, keep making art, keep listening to music and dancing and talking and sharing and thinking. That's all. And I will see you guys in next week's video.